red kite is possibly one of our greatest conservation triumphs. But only 30 years ago, the population in the UK reached a critical level. Until the 19th century, kites were a common sight in our skies, but as carrion feeders on dead animals, they were easy prey to traps laid by gamekeepers who saw them as a threat to their game stocks. Numbers plummeted. By the 1920s here in Wales, there were less than 20 birds, and in England and Scotland, there were none at all. Nowadays, numbers are much healthier. With 900 and counting across the UK, there has never been a better time to catch a glimpse of this truly magnificent British wildlife spectacle. Kites often fly circling slowly in groups of 2 or 3, making use of a natural phenomena known as thermal lift. So if I really want to see them in their element, I'm going to have to learn how to fly. Thankfully, I've got some help. Martin Cray has been combining his twin passions of falconry and paragliding for 20 years and has even managed to encourage his birds to fly alongside him.
That's great.
Got a bit of a big head, actually. So what have I got in the back here?
You've got some air foam padding in the back there to protect you should we have a bit of a hard landing.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to imagine that this thin piece of nylon is going to support both of us. Steve will be my tandem pilot, making sure we stay in the air.
Do the running and do the work.
There's a few final preparations, but if I'm going to see the red kite in its element, I couldn't be in better hands. There's no time for nerves, and before I know it, we're in the air. Wow! Wow! That's a feeling you never get used to. And Martin isn't far behind. Wow, what a rush! The conditions are perfect for paragliding, and with a bit of luck, red kites.
Steve, drawing up quite close with the ridge on both on our right, your right and our right.
Martin, what are we looking for here?
We're looking for exactly the same bit of air that a kite would use. The kite doesn't want to use any energy if it can avoid it, so it's looking for lifting air. Come to your right now, there's a kite here using the air exactly the same way that I am. He's underneath me, and he's using the ridge just the same as me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He's coming right next to me. Hello, Mr. Kite. Okay, he's off to your right now. Just look down to your right.
Here she comes, here she comes. Ah, it's the most spectacular sight. We're sharing the same thermals and sharing the same airspace with this red kite. It's been really generous too. Red kites have got amazing vision. They've got 2.5 times the visual acuity of humans, which means that if I can see an object a mile away, then a red kite can see it 2.5 miles away. Now that might not sound that impressive, but for me it's all I can do really to just see the sheep on the ground here. Wow! Kites have got a really large wingspan, up to 2 meters, which is taller than me, and they only weigh about 2 or 3 kilos. So they're very, very light and incredibly agile. What an absolute honour to be flying alongside a red kite. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Very, very graceful in flight. Not quite so graceful in landing, but so incredible to share the same territory as a red kite.
Ellie, it quite put me off my stroke, that line about sharing your thermals with a red kite. But anyway, let's press on. It's a conservation triumph, isn't it? There's more and more of them about, and there was hardly any.
Absolutely. There were absolutely none at all in England, and now we've got some in the Chilterns, there's some in Yorkshire, up in Dumfries and Galloway, and northern Scotland as well. So it's a real conservation triumph.
And there was one shot in Ireland. When we won't
That's
have
right.
that,
About a week or so ago, there is a small lobby of people who believe that red kites will take some of their livestock, which isn't the case. They eat dead animals and small mammals, so it's a minority, and it's illegal as well to hunt red kites.
But they're on the up anyway at this stage, which is a great thing. September's a very busy time for wildlife, isn't it, Ellie? I mean, what should we be looking out for in our gardens at this stage?
There's a lot going on at the moment. Red deer stags are going into the rutting season, and they're out there trying to compete for hinds. And so they do this parallel walking. They'll be doing these huge bellowing calls at dawn and dusk. And if they still can't decide who the main man is, they do this locking of their antlers. It's a really impressive
And
sight.
importantly, don't go near them in the rutting season. They're incredibly aggressive.
Have you had
especially-
experience? Have you had some contact with male
Well,
deers?
yeah,
like
I
that?
used to live near a deer park, and in the rutting season, you never went in there. But I've had them leap out of bushes and hit the car. And this is a time when insurance companies will accept if you hit a deer with your car, because the rutting season sends them crazy.
It's peculiarly human behaviour, though, isn't it? Once they've evolved in another 10 million years, they'll be doing that in nightclubs, won't they, those
They
deer?
do already in some age.
Do
You
they?
just haven't been to one
That's
for a
just
while.
Northern Ireland, that is, I think. No, you're right, I haven't been in one in a long time.